Coco Gauff falls in WTA rankings after Australian Open. Coco Gauff's campaign at the 2026 Australian Open did not end the way she had wanted. Despite running through the first 4 rounds, Gauff came up short against the surging Alina Svitolina in the quarterfinals. Even though it was a solid showing, Gauff took a hit in the updated WTA rankings. Following Saturday night's final, the WTA released the latest rankings, and Gauff fell from world number 3 to number 5. This is the first time Gauff has not been ranked inside the top 4 for the first time in 16 months. Gauff fell to world number 5 with Amanda Anisimova holding steady at number 4, and Australian Open champion Elena Rybakina jumping 2 spots to number 3. Meanwhile, the number 2 Iga Swiatek and top-ranked Aryna Sabalenka remained the same. Gauff's new ranking could result in a more challenging path to the finals in the upcoming Masters 1000 tournaments in Doha and Dubai this month. Of course, Gauff could move up slightly to improve her chances in the draw, but she will still face serious contenders well before the finals in both tournaments. Coco Gauff's future matches. The good news is that Gauff has very few points to defend in the Middle East swing after consecutive first-round losses in Doha and Dubai last February. On the other hand, Anisimova is just 257 ranking points ahead of Gauff. Anisimova, the defending champion of the Qatar Open, must defend 1,000 ranking points. Gauff will compete in the Middle East swing in February, and then the Sunshine Swing in America in March. All eyes will be on Gauff as she returns to the United States for Indian Wells and the Miami Open next month. Luckily for the American, she does not have many points to defend in either swing. The 2026 Australian Open is over, and now the ATP and WTA schedule marches forward toward the spring. Stay locked into Sports Illustrated Serve on SI for all of your tennis news from the court and beyond. Coco Gauff's setback and the turning point, the ranking fall after the 2026 Australian Open. Coco Gauff has become a name synonymous with tenacity, precocious talent, and pure athletic charisma. From her breakthrough at Wimbledon as a 15-year-old phenom to winning multiple Grand Slam trophies before her 22nd birthday, she arrived on the world stage with a combination of maturity and explosive potential that few could rival. Yet even stars must navigate peaks and valleys, and in early 2026, Gauff faced one of the most scrutinized dips of her young career, a drop in the WTA rankings after the Australian Open that has prompted both reflection and recalibration. A glimpse at what happened in Melbourne. The 2026 Australian Open began as another opportunity for Gauff to fortify her place at the top of women's tennis. She entered Melbourne Park riding high on recent successes, including her second career Grand Slam at Roland Garros in 2025 and a dominant run through the tour that had positioned her consistently among the elite. Yet the brutal immediacy of Grand Slam competition revealed its unforgiving nature once again. Gauff advanced through the first rounds with characteristic grit and athleticism, showcasing the depth of her game. But when she faced Alina Svitolina in the quarterfinals, everything changed. In a match that lasted barely an hour, the Ukrainian unleashed a blend of strategic precision and calm resilience that left the young American struggling to find her rhythm. By the time the final point concluded, Gauff's 6-1, 6-2 defeat was decisive and surprisingly swift. It was one of those rare performances where nothing seemed to click for Gauff. Her serve, usually a trademark weapon, sputtered with unforced errors and double faults. Key moments slipped through her fingers, and even her trademark defensive magic, the ability to turn points with speed and intuition, was muted. At Rod Laver Arena, where so many careers have peaked or crumbled, Gauff's quarterfinal exit was emphatic and had consequences beyond the match statistics. The ranking slide, from number 3 to number 5. Following the conclusion of the Australian Open, the WTA released the updated rankings, and the shift was notable. Gauff slid from world number 3 to number 5, a drop that represents her first absence from the top 4 in over a year. In the competitive atmosphere of the WTA Tour, rankings aren't just numbers, they shape tournament seedings, influence draws, and reflect, above all, momentum. Why did this drop occur? The WTA ranking system assigns points based on tournament performance over a rolling 52-week period. While Gauff had racked up significant points through title runs and deep Grand Slam runs in recent seasons, the points she had to defend from a quarterfinal, or better, finish the previous year at Melbourne were replaced by a lighter hole from her 2026 result. Meanwhile, rivals like Elena Rybakina surged, moving up the rankings with a major title and stronger point retention, and Amanda Anisimova solidified her position within the tour's elite. The result, a shift of 2 ranking positions, might seem subtle to a casual observer. Yet in the world of elite tennis, where confidence and perception matter as much as match points, this reordering sends ripples through the competitive landscape. What the drop really means. To appreciate the significance of this shift, it helps to look beyond the arithmetic of points and into the psychological, tactical, and narrative implications for Gauff and the tour at large. 1. A test of identity and resilience. Ranking fluctuations are part of sport. For someone as accomplished as Gauff, a temporary dip might seem trivial, but for elite athletes, relative position has emotional resonance. For a player whose career has been defined by rapid ascent, this moment can feel like external judgment. Are you still among the best? By dropping out of the top 4, Gauff confronts that question squarely. This is where mental resolve becomes as important as physical skill. In recent years, Gauff has openly embraced challenges, training with specialists, tweaking her save mechanics, and even addressing her mental approach to tough matches. Early in her career, pundits noted her maturity far beyond her years. Now she faces the universal truth experienced by every great competitor. You only find out who you are when things don't go your way. A ranking drop doesn't redefine Gauff's worth, but it introduces new pressure. How she responds could shape the next phase of her legacy. 2. Tournament implications and competitive dynamics. Being ranked number 5 rather than number 3 might alter Gauff's seedings in upcoming events. Although her status as a top player remains secure, tournament draws could become marginally tougher earlier than they would have otherwise. Facing a top seed in earlier rounds increases the risk of upset and adds to strategic challenges. For competitors like Rybakina and Anisimova, both ascending and hungry, Gauff's slip creates opportunity. Suddenly, the narrative isn't just about defending titles, it's also about chasing and overtaking. And with Sabalenka and Swiatek still commanding the top positions, the women's tour remains a cauldron of elite rivalries. 3. Media, public perception, and storylines. Beyond the court, rankings influence how narratives are crafted. Fans, media, and sponsors digest and publicize shifts as symbolic arcs. Gauff's journey, both celebrated and critiqued since her breakthrough, has always been a compelling story. A drop in rankings,